So it's always good to have friends like that in the room. So real quickly, we want to talk about taking a pulse check on your attitude. A change in thinking can lead to a change in behavior and results. Hard times sap your energy and leave you frustrated and are an inevitable part of life. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe your finances took a turn for the worse. Maybe your personal life is in disarray or a health problem emerged, forcing a lifestyle change. These certain setbacks can leave people afraid, uncertain, angry, unsatisfied. But our friend Darlene Hunter, a renowned speaker and author of Winnability, Navigating Through Life's Challenges and a Winning Attitude. It's all about overcoming those emotions, when it comes down to a person's mindset and their perspective. Your attitude is a critical factor that can either hold you back or help you move forward. Everyone needs to take the time and do a pulse check on where they are in thinking. Is this positive or is it negative? I just want to stop it right there and just think for a moment and say, okay, we've all been in a situation where, okay, I take my day today. So by trade, I'm an IT person, an information technology person. I've been doing that for the last 18 years. And today, there at the school that I worked for, the internet, we had network problems, internet problems, you name it. But never once did I say, you know what, that's it, I'm packing it in, I've had enough. I mean, though personally I did have enough, that's my profession. That's what I have to do. And that's what I'm there for, to deal with those types of problems. And you got to think to yourself, is it a positive, is it a negative? Will it matter in a year? This specific situation that you're dealing with. So you got to think about it. A positive attitude comes easily when life is rosy. So if you were just Darrell Revis and you got a 5-year, $70 million deal and almost $40 million guaranteed, okay, 39, guaranteed, life is rosy. Wouldn't you say? But the real trick is persevering when things go awry so you can continue to strive towards your goal. The important things to remember that we cannot give up just because things don't work out the way we want them to. Okay? So let's take this show. It hasn't been the best show, and I've told you, and I've complained every step of the way. But the best thing about it is you keep pushing on. Why? Because you got a product that you got to push out for your listeners. You got to, like I said, you got to be persistent. You got to press your way through the end. We have 5 tips that can help you change your thinking, which in turn will change your behavior and ultimately change your results, because you got to be a planner. You got to live your dream. You got to need to know what you want, and you got to have a plan in getting there. Planning your day, a week, a month, and critical ingredients to living your dream and purpose. The how and why elements are important factors in planning as they guide you in the direction that you want to go. You got to be goal-orientated. For some folks, if you don't set these specific performance indicators, they don't know what they're doing. It's kind of like, what am I doing? What am I doing now that I, should be focusing on? So you got to ask yourself, you set your goals, the next step is to work on completing them. That's why it's important to set goals with everything that you can accomplish. Each time you check off a goal off your list, you're one step closer to what you ultimately want to achieve. The sense of accomplishment that comes from reaching even the smallest goals to help you keep moving and striving and to get your desired end. So let's look financially. Let's say you owe 2 or 3 different credit cards. 2 or 3 of your credit cards are maxed out. So you got one that's maxed out at $10,000. You got one that's maxed out at $5,000, and you got one that's maxed out at $2,000. So anyway you look at it, you got $17,000 in debt, right? And you're not talking about mortgage and everything else that you have to deal with, right? So what do you attack? What do you attack? Do you attack all 3 of them, or do you attack the smallest one? Because that smallest one, you look at that as a goal. So you attack that $2,000 credit card. You knock that out of the way. Then you go for the $5,000, and then or you go the other way around. But you gotta have a goal. You gotta have a plan. You gotta be driven for your results, because when you're driven, you have a compulsive and urgent desire to accomplish what you're seeking, whether it's a bonus, a promotion, additional knowledge in the particular area, or some other goal. The important factor is to always know what you are seeking. Result-driven people focus on meeting objectives and delivering on goals they set. So you got to be driven. And you look at, let's just say, I don't know, like a Michael Jordan. Wouldn't you say he was driven? A Derek Jeter, a Tom Brady. Those type of folks are driven for results. The other piece to it is you got to have a winning attitude. You got to be determined, dedicated, and devoted to succeed. You should never give up your goals and dreams and simply because something goes wrong, or because you're not getting to where you hope to be, as fast. So the person before, Nicole Monique, she's driven. She has a winning attitude. Why? Because the station she's currently on, it only reaches, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12,000 people. So she's going to a station that's going to reach 50,000 people. You got to be focused. When you're focused, you have a clear perception and understanding of what you want to accomplish and where you need to go to get there. Think about the long distance runners. We had Terrence Mills on for the New York City Marathon. He ran a 26.2 mile race, and he finished from start to finish. Touched all 5 barrels. You got to understand that your pace, and then stay with it. We do this show every week. If you think about the Happy Hour Network, we have shows almost in every day of the week for at least 1 or maybe 2 hours. And the thing about it is these people are focused. They're focused on what they're doing. And that's why you have a variety of different shows. I mean, nothing is interlocking where, this one, Danny's talking about basketball. Todd and Lee are talking about what's happening in Tennessee. Ryan's talking about what's happening in Chicago and abroad. We're going to have the Chronic Kitties on talking about their illnesses and how it's not going to stop them. On Saturday we talk about baseball, beer, and barbecue. It's you have the Yellow Card podcast talking about the latest and greatest in football or soccer. But you got to be focused. Like I said, you got to go back. You got to think about that long distance runner. He's running that marathon regardless. He's looking at his pace. And you know what? Down the road, you're going to get tired. You're going to be weary. But you got to find your zone. If you look at the real Ted Hicks Twitter page, you're going to see it says in the zone, because that's what I look and I see myself as on certain evenings. I'm in the zone, whether I'm at work, whether I'm at home, whether I'm doing the show. You got to put yourself in that specific zone, and you got to stay focused. You got to concentrate on what's needed to get to the end. I mean, you got to think about it. There's plenty of stories that can be told by people who failed in the beginning, but made it to the top of their profession because they did not give up after being told they weren't good enough. The ability to keep and trying and pushing no matter how many failures or obstacles you hit is the power and perseverance, and is what winnability is all about. So you got to check out that book by Darlene Hunter, because, I mean, it really sounds motivational. She's a motivational, inspirational speaker, author, life and business coach, and guess what? An award-winning talk show host. So we're getting ready to come to a close. We didn't really talk too much sports. You know that I'm an avid Jets fan. I love what they're doing. I love that the ownership has got the right people in place to go and pick the right players. You got the right coach. No disrespect to Rex, but it was time to go 2 seasons ago. Revis is home. Jets, Jets. We got a lot of stuff happening here in New York and on Long Island. We got the Islanders coming to a close here at the Nassau Coliseum. Last weekend, I was at the Nassau Coliseum for the Road to WrestleMania with my son. A lot of good things that we have coming on in the next few weeks. Our friends at Power Hands want to give them a shout-out. Our friends at Icy Hot want to give them a shout-out. Our friends at Schick for the Schick Hydro want to give those folks a shout-out. Salon Pass, Microsoft, AT&T, our friends at Canada Dry, and beyond. I want to thank you so much. Like I said, a hectic show, but as always, we appreciate you with all that you do. And I think we're going to come to a close. So we're going to close it out with, when will I see you again? Hopefully that's next week. And we're powered on iHeartRadio. Shout out to Ralph, Rodney, Mike, Scott Price, Eric, Life Improvement Radio, XRP Radio, all of our other friends that I didn't get to shout you out earlier. We're shouting you out at the end of the show. We usually do it at the beginning, but we want to say you made it. We made it through this show. It was a rough one, but it was so apropos to end with that last piece. I'm going to let you guys know the things that you have to, the things that you want to do in life. Enjoy yourself. Keep focused on it. And when will I see you again?